Welcome to Algebra 2. This is the first video that you're going to view, and it's going to be about using the calculator. I wanted to tell you how important this calculator is in class. It's going to make your life so much easier if you have one of these. And you all know that I only have a few in the classroom to give out. So buying one of your own is going to help you in the class and assure that you have a calculator of your own. But also, when it's time for the MMEs or the ACT, this calculator is going to be so useful to you. So I highly recommend that you buy this calculator. And I've seen them go on Amazon as low as $20, so you could even try that. Or just go to some garage sales shopping. So anyway, any kind of calculator with the TI in front of it is good, except for the TI 89 Plus, I believe. There's only one TI 80 number on the MME ACT that you cannot use, and I believe it is the 89. However, we're going to go ahead and get started. And when you get your calculator, you are going to have to make sure that it's turned on. And what you do is do the second on, which I just turned off, but if you turn it back on, pretty simple. And we're going to be doing some graphing. All of you guys know how to graph. You've done the X and Y, so we did that in Algebra 1. Okay, now it's time to move further, so having a shortcut or something easier to see the graphs will make your life easier, trust me. So whenever you want to graph, the first thing you need to make sure in your calculator is that the stat plots are turned off. We don't want no stat plots on. So if you go to second y equals, you'll see the screen pop up. And you want to make sure that number 4 is selected, and it'll say plots off, and you just push enter and it is done. Alright, so now that you have that done, you then go to your y equals, and I'm completely making this up, so we're just gonna punch in something here. Let's say we had a straight line, so it'd be y equals mx plus b, and there's of course numbers for m and b. So we're going to say, let's say 2x plus 3. So 2, and to get the x in there is the button right underneath the mode here. So x, and then plus 3. And then when you're ready to see it, you just hit graph here, and there's your straight line. Now you can also go and get your x and y table values. A lot of times on the test you'll see, write in the x and y values or what is the y-intercept, and you would have to go through and plug in a bunch of different numbers to get an x and y chart. But this calculator is so smart that it does it for you. And since you've already learned that in Algebra 1, this is time where you can use those shortcuts. So how to get to the y or the x and y table, we want to make sure that the table is set up correctly. So if you see up here it says TBL set. We're going to do second window to get that. And the TBL start is just telling the calculator where you want it to start. Do you want it to start at -2 and go up or down? It really doesn't matter what that number is, because you can scroll up and down to get whatever value of x you want. What does matter is this little triangle, which is the table. It's called delta table, and it's going to tell your x and y chart of what you want it to go up by. Do you want it to go by ones? Do you want it to go by halves, thirds? Whatever your choice is. I'm just going to do ones right now. So everything looks good, and then we're ready to view the table. So you want to get the table over here. Instead of just hitting the blue button, you need the second blue button. And there's your x and y points. So very easily we can look through here, and we could plot points if we didn't want to just sketch the graph. And you can also go through here and see what the x-intercept is and the y-intercept. Okay, and again, you can go back to your graph and view those points. Okay, so now in this next chapter, you're going to be graphing not straight lines, but you're going to be graphing quadratic equations, which are parabolas. And the only difference is that instead of 2x plus 3 or mx plus b, you're going to have x squared in there. So let's clear this out. And I'm just making one up. So let's do x squared. So x. And to get the squared button, you can do two different things. You can just hit the square down here, or I'm going to go back and delete it. You can do the caret key over here underneath the clear button with the 2. Either one of those will work. And so x squared, I don't know, plus 3x minus 5. Okay, remember ax squared plus bx plus c are all the equations that you're going to use for quadratic. So this is what one would look like. And of course you would get those in your book. And again, we want to go to the graph. You can tell that it's a U-shaped. There would be the sketch. You could also go to the table by doing second graph, looking at all of your values. And then you can also set your graph up. Let's say the U was really, really big, and you couldn't see the bottom of this. We can right now, but let's say you could not. What you want to do is you want to go to Window, and this is telling the calculator what you want your x-axis to go by. You want to go from -10 all the way to 10, which the x-min says -10, and the x-max is 10, and our scale is just going up by ones. The y-min and y-max, of course, should be the same. So I went, started at 0, 0, went up to 10 and down 10. So the y-min would be -10, the y-max would be 10. And again, we want that to go by ones. I have no idea what this means, but it's always been set at 1 and it works, so let's go with it. All right, to change that, let's say you wanted to see the bottom of the graph. Let's say you couldn't see it. You would have to expand this window. Maybe -10 to 10 doesn't work. So we would try -20, maybe to 20. You could go by ones or twos. And then again, just make it even so that the y does the same thing. And when you go to your graph, you can tell you shrunk or you expanded the window so you could see the entire graph. So if you ever get a graph where you don't see the bottom of the U or you need a value up top, just expand the window by changing the settings, and you can mess around with them however you'd like. All right, well, that concludes the calculator demonstration. Hopefully you've gained some knowledge about it because, like I said, you're going to be using this so much in class. So tomorrow when you come to class, you're going to be taking your first quiz, and it's going to be over using this calculator.